So anyway, let's go into our our place for meditation. A couple of deep breaths, breathing deeply, inhaling and exhaling more deeply in and out the body, just to release any tension. So according to Buddhism, if you have an opportunity to study Buddhism a little bit, it really informs your meditation. Helps us to understand why we're always kind of a little bit naughty, This is just the nature of kind of our existence. There's always a bit of disturbance going on in the mind due to the presence of what we call sort of delusions or disturbed states of mind that we all have. Sometimes we think it's just me that's struggling, but actually everybody's struggling because we have this kind of basic types of confusion going on in our mind, the arena of our mental consciousness. So that's a process, accepting that as part of our meditation. Accepting our disturbed and difficult states of mind in a place of kindness and clarity, and then slowly activating the antidotes or the positive states of mind. So meditation, there's this twofold process of kind of self-acceptance of where we are now, and then working to overcome, to slowly pacify these disturbed, challenging states of mind. So let's start with the scanning of the body. Again, just to settle into the meditation posture, starting for the crown of the head. And using breath and awareness just to go through and release and relax tension, usually around the brow and the eyes. A few breaths, just breathing deeply into the skin, the flesh, tissue, blood. Streaming down the face with the fluidity of breath and the softness of breath and awareness, bringing that into the body, using that to soften as we go down through the jaw, the neck. A few breaths in that area. Soften, open and relax. A few breaths around the shoulders, across the chest, placing the shoulders down the back and opening up the chest. streaming down the back of the body. Just a gentle breathy awareness all the way down the back of the body. A few breaths just being with the belly area, allowing that to soften, open and relax. When we've had a busy week, then the tension builds up in the body, deep into the muscle and tissue. So we use meditation, this kind of acupuncture type meditation, just to open up the body with breath and awareness. A few breaths just to ground with the sit bones, the sensation of the sit bones on the cushion. Just be with that sensation, that earthiness. And then connecting for a few more breaths all the way down through the legs, through the toes. So we've covered the whole body with breath and awareness. We've massaged our whole body with our kind of mind's eye. And take a moment just to check, do we feel more present in our body after that exercise? Then for the next couple of minutes, just check in, touching the different points of the posture. Again, with mind and breath and awareness, the crown, the mouth. Can we remember the points of the posture? And just touch each of these points with our awareness. The crown. The eyes down or slightly closed. The jaw, again slowly, gently closed with the tongue on the palate. The arms slightly out from the side of the body, and the hands, left hand holding the right hand, two thumbs touching. the arrow-like or pillar-like energy of the spine, just behind the spine, or front of the spine I should say, towards the middle of the body, from the sit bones all the way up to the crown, just connecting with that. Finding our strength there for meditation. Back of the neck is soft. And where do our legs need to be? Are they in the right place to support the upper part of the body? Where is our lotus? With the legs, making sure it's firm and stable. So another exercise we're going to introduce to meditation this morning is, some of us know already, 9-round breathing. Introduce it in a simple way. As I mentioned, when we meditate, we need to be aware it's not just the mind. There's a wind element, just like we breathe all the time. When we're alive, we're always with the breath. Similarly, the mind with it carries a very subtle wind element. They go together like a horse and a rider. The rider is the mind that experiences, and the horse is that carries the breath. The experiencer, the rider. So we need to take care of both when we meditate. So one way to support the mind is by clearing the wind energy in the body through this 9-round breathing exercise. So let's bring first finger of your left hand, and we're going to close off the right nostril and just a little bit long, slow, still being comfortable, but long, slow, deep breath. Inhaling in, so I'll just explain it one time, then we'll do together. So we breathe in for about the count of 4, if you can, holding for 4, then exhaling for the count of 4, and then holding for 4. The space is important, just to allow the breath and the mind to settle in those places. So first finger, left hand closed, and then breathe in for 4, holding for the count of 4, and you just count 4 in your own way. And then moving the finger and exhaling through the right nostril for 4 and holding for 4. And we do that 3 times on each side. So we start first finger, left hand, closing the right nostril, keeping the jaw, everything soft, and just allowing the breath to deepen as we go more into the exercise. So inhaling for the count of 4. Holding for 4. Exhaling through the opposite nostril for 4. Do another 2 times. When you're ready, we do the same on the opposite side. First finger of right hand, closing off the left nostril. Again, making sure we're soft through the jaw, the back of the throat. Inhaling for 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, and being for 4 and starting again. So it's like a round of 6, count to 16 each one. Then we can do, when you're finished, do both nostrils. Round, count to 16 again. 4 sets of 4. See if we can start to breathe a little bit more deeply into the belly, opening and releasing and relaxing the belly as we do it. So check the mind. Is there a slight lightness, clarity after that exercise? So now slowly hone the mind in, our mind's eye, into the place of the nostrils. Wherever your place is for dropping the mind into anchoring the mind into concentration. Gently but firmly place the mind there, whether it's the tip of the nostrils or the level of the abdomen. And for the next 5 minutes, we're simply being with, dropping into being with the breath, the sensation at the tip of the nostrils, or the process of it moving in and out of the abdomen, just anchoring there with gentleness, but a sense of firmness and determination to stay on the object. Again, when we catch ourselves wandering, simply label thoughts, noise, pain, whatever's coming up, place a label, and gently but firmly go back to the breath. So we do for 5 minutes. So let's just drop out of the meditation a little bit. We're going to stay, we're not going to come out completely, but if you just need to move your body a little bit, just do that as we move into the other part of the meditation, body light. So we'll just take a moment to relax a little bit. Again, without any storyline, just as we're moving, relaxing, shifting the body a bit, without any storyline about how that meditation went. We need to try and avoid having too many expectations. It's difficult, but trying to go into our meditation with just a sense of curiosity, a little bit of energy, joy, but not too much expectation. Keeping the mind kind of neutral in a way. Actually, expectation just agitates the mind, you know. So we're going to go into the second part of the meditation. Starting with a short motivation, then we're going to do something called the body light, different style of meditation, to activate or awaken our inner light nature. I mean, we all want to feel luminous, right? We all want to look luminous, feel luminous. That's the natural quality of our consciousness. It's one of the qualities of wisdom, is being clear, luminous. However, in reality, sometimes our life, you know, it feels there's a heaviness to our life. We have moments or periods of happiness and lightness. But if we really check up, and I think that's why we're here, because we've connected with this kind of heaviness that generally permeates our day-to-day experience. Not just in the body, but I mean a heaviness in mind. A heaviness of life or experience, our feelings, emotions sometimes are heavy. It's almost like we have this kind of backpack of mental and spiritual stuff that we're carrying around with us all the time. I mean, usually we carry our bag with us, don't we, or our backpack. Ladies have bags, maybe. We all have backpacks. But similarly, we're carrying a backpack of stuff. And, you know, we'll do things to kind of maybe avoid it by... It's like putting the backpack of your stuff from one shoulder to the next shoulder, so life feels a bit lighter. You know, if we put it one way or the other way, it's a bit like distracting ourselves. So if we do this or that, then it feels a bit lighter for a while. But somehow it doesn't completely unburden us of this kind of inner load that we can carry, you know. So when we engage in meditation, what we're doing is taking a conscious decision to unburden our load. Start to lighten that inner karmic load. Unburden ourselves of states of mind that are not serving us. We want to enlighten ourselves, lighten ourselves up. So to bring that sense of lightness, there's one meditation called the body light meditation. So imagine, we visualize or imagine, feel the presence of. Now when we do visualization, sometimes we can't always see something with our mind's eye, but maybe we feel it, maybe we can touch it, taste it. Maybe we feel it more through one of the senses. And what we're imagining here, trying to touch or feel the presence of in the space before us or above our crown, either one, is a luminous light like the moon. Imagine the last full moon you saw. But it's just made of pure translucent light. very bright and vibrant. It's about maybe just slightly smaller than the size of our head. It's vibrating with light, just like the moon, having this ability to dispel darkness. That's its quality, dispelling darkness. And also embodying kind of all the goodness that there is in the world, all the innate goodness that we have in our own heart. So it's the quality of light and goodness. So try to feel that luminous light either just before us or at the crown of our head. And we feel it radiating on all our pores, just like when we look at the moon. That light sort of radiates through us. Then slowly, slowly, this lunar energy starts to get smaller and smaller till it's about, about a couple of inches wide, or diameter. And it moves towards us and comes and touches our crown. It starts to melt down through our crown. As it touches our crown, all the pores, our skin, blood, flesh, all down to the smallest pores, start to feel the presence get illuminated by this light. So the heaviness of the body, the heaviness of the mind, it all gets encompassed in this light and goodness. As it moves down through our crown, going down through the centre part, the pillar of our body, what we call the central channel, or subtle body, and moving down slowly, slowly through the throat and into the heart, and just again illuminating our whole body and dispelling darkness and heaviness. Even at the level of our emotions, at the level of our thoughts. It touches heaviness in the emotional world, the feeling world, the mental, conceptual world, that it just transforms into light. And then just sit for a few minutes, focusing on this light and space. This is me. When the light goes away, again, just imagine the moon kind of going through your whole being from the level of the heart, and just again sit in that luminous space. When the thoughts, the feeling, the body gets heavy, see if you can use that light just to absorb, so the light absorbs the thoughts, makes them more translucent. So our consciousness has many qualities. I mean, we talk about enlightenment, you know. In Buddhism, we've all heard this term enlightenment. What does it mean? We become enlightened. My teacher, you know, was a great holy being, Lama Zopa Rinpoche. When he entered a room, the whole room lit up. You know, he had this incredible luminosity. He had awakened this inner potential for luminosity. And its nature is wisdom and compassion. So as we come out of the meditation, we just, again, try to dedicate. By virtue of this meditation, may I and all beings awaken this luminous quality that's rooted in wisdom and compassion. Okay. You're ready, you can come out of the meditation. Can you remind me your name again? I think I've got everybody else's name now, but Sherry. Sherry, okay, yeah. I can see everybody's name online, so. Okay, so any questions or comments with those meditations? Body light, were we feeling it? Not feeling it? So.
I like the suggestion of the light cleaning up all those extra thoughts that were popping in. I like that image. It worked for me.
Mm-hmm. So using light a little bit to help get rid of some difficult thoughts, you know. Good. Any other questions or comments? Anyone struggle and not quite get what we're supposed to be doing there? Okay. Also, I wanted to ask about the meditations or anything that who was able to listen to the meditations from that I sent last week. A couple of us here, yeah. Anybody online? Not. Anyway, I'll just keep sending meditations. I'll send another one this week because I think a few of you did ask for it. It may just be also you haven't had time, maybe as well, yeah. I think they're about 20-25 minutes long, you know. So, did anyone have any questions? Mm-hmm.
I really like the one about visualizing yourself in the mountains.
Visualizing in the mountains, yeah.
Yes,
yeah, of course.
That was a good one.
The yogis, you know, that's why they went into the mountains, you know, because nature can really support our meditation, you know. I mean, of course, we have this centre with these holy objects. They also very much support our meditation. I mean, we need a lifeline of inspiration and support for meditation. Yeah, it's not easy. You know, that's why Tony very kindly sets up this place, you know, so we can come and meditate together as a Sangha. It's not easy meditating on one's own, right? It's really not easy. I mean, I still live at a centre after 25 years of doing meditation practice, you know, because there's a great energy there that supports you. So it's not easy. So we do need to recognise that. I mean, that's what Phyllis said when she came in today. I was doing that meditation. It's quite hard. Yeah. I mean, it's tough work, meditation, you know. But we also want to get some joy out of it, you know. But we don't always get that when we meditate. We can't expect that every time we sit down, we're going to be blissed out after the practice, you know. Sometimes you're just working through your stuff. But the fact that you just keep doing it and you making sure we have a meditation method that is working on the stuff and that is activating at the same time positive states of mind. I just want to emphasize that. I'll just keep repeating it. Meditation is a twofold process. Working on our stuff, having a meditation practice that's not just spacing us out and getting away from things, you know. It's not really about that, you know. It's not really getting away from your stuff. It's like therapy. It's getting a space where you're working on your stuff, and you have a meditation practice that's working on your stuff, So what happens in therapy? Stuff comes up. That's the purpose. We to bring it out, So it can be a wee bit difficult, but that's good. My teacher says if there's no hardship, there's no progress. Like anything in life, right? Even to accomplish things in our life, have your own business, become a doctor, there's a hardship, there's a learning process, and that's the same in meditation. That is the case, So, but there's a sort of, there's a sense of satisfaction that comes in joy and peace. If we keep activating certain states of mind through the process, they will become more powerful than the stuff. But that takes time. It's not happening in a few meditation sessions or after a 5-week class in meditation. What we're learning to do here is create a space to work with our stuff, create an inner space of mind where we're okay with being with our stuff and working with it. It's like creating our own little therapy room. We should call our meditation room our therapy room, really, because that's what it is, but using tried and tested practices that are going to, like other people have used and worked with, that will eventually start moving your stuff, and shifting some of the baggage, the heaviness of the mind. As I said, we have this backpack, mental backpack that we're all carrying. Did that make sense? I mean, you're feeling it. We have a mental backpack, yeah? We take care of the body, we go to gym and all that, but there's a lot going on in the mind. We know that. Feelings, emotions, that's with us all day, every day, even in our sleep, even in our dreams. And unfortunately, school, that's not always addressed the teachers are very aware of it, their own and the kids, but there might be some places where they address it a little bit. But I have to say, in the Dharma, and I didn't pop out the womb as a Buddhist nun, I was a Westerner who went to Western school, Western education. My school was quite tough, quite hard, a lot of low-income areas coming at that school. So there was a lot of stuff there, and then, university, and then a few years or whatever, and then met Buddhism. So it's like, but yeah, it's like we all need it, Whether you're a nun or a monk or whatever you are, we need that, and kids, everything, because they don't pop out pure either. You feel like children are pure and innocent for a while, but then what happens is what we call the past life karmic baggage starts to kick in. And one son's like this, one daughter's like this, one child's like that, and that's because we all have these karmic propensities. So I'm using some Buddhist language, but I think we can see we have propensities, and some of the propensities are good because we've practiced that before. Some of the propensities are challenging because we haven't worked on them. We haven't addressed them. So that's what we're trying to address in our meditation.
Would you say that,
Dave?
You can't really go in trying to address a propensity that you may have, but that it will be revealed as you meditate, or can you focus on a specific,
Well, no, if you already know you've got an issue with anger, for example, that's an obvious one. We all have some amount of anger already. Does anybody feel like they're completely 100% patient? Anybody there? We have levels of all of these things, Let me just slide this in and share this. So I'm going to share the screen now, Tony. Oh, what happened there? Oh, yeah, it's back. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. And then I'll ask your question when I get this up properly. What's happening? Show presenter view. Sorry. Oh. I think you're still trying to get it up there. Sorry, anyway, to address your question, it's a very much like when you do therapy, like as Rimshi's saying here, usually we go, if we all think about why did we come to this class, it's usually to address something that we're struggling with, I think, yeah? Would we say? There's some state of mind that we need to address, whether it's anxiety, fears, anger and irritation. We all have probably some of this, all of us, some of each of them. So that's okay. There's actually specific meditations where we address, and this is what I'm moving into today, more of an analytical style of meditation. So we move into types of meditation to address certain states of mind. So it's the more conscious we are of what's going on in our mind, that's good. And what you'll find, when I first met the Dharma, and I heard all the Buddhist teachings about all these different types of delusions you've got, these mental afflictions, we call them. It can get a bit heavy, it's like, oh, could I get a bit of joy here, As you've got this and that and the next thing. So I just want to focus on the potential I've got, But that's what I'm saying, it's a bit of both. We can't neglect one or the other. We want to connect with the joy and the light and the body of light. We want all that. But in that process, our stuff's going to come out. It's a bit like washing clothes, when you've got dirty clothes, you wash it. They use this analogy that's really helpful. The dirt starts to come out. So when you do a good meditation, a tried and tested meditation, dirt will start coming out, and you'll start to see it. So what's nice in meditation, if we can create a space, a sort of therapeutic space within ourselves, a good space, a safe space, like you go to a therapist, if you find a really good counsellor or a therapist, you feel safe with them. That's somebody you feel safe with, and you can talk about your stuff, the dirt coming out of the cloths. Well, it's a bit like that in meditation, but you have to create that safe space. You have to be your therapist. So when we do certain meditations, when we activate positive states of mind, it's like we're activating this ability to become our inner therapist, our inner goodness, our inner wisdom. But in that process, stuff will still come out. We have to still address the junk. So your potential is your therapy, your therapist, your wisdom and your compassion. We all have that. And then the stuff is your junk, that you have to work on. So it's like we have to build up this inner communication with ourselves. Here's the stuff, and now I'm going to do the practice to slowly work on the stuff. It's becoming a friend to yourself, and that's a little bit foreign for us Westerners, some of us, yeah? Some of us might have done it already. And we do it a bit. We talk to ourselves a lot, but we often talk ourselves down instead of trying to coax and encourage ourselves. If we don't find that space to coax and encourage in a sort of humble and sort of inspirational, kind, even a therapist, they're not going to say, oh, that's okay, dear. That's okay, dear. No, they have to be firm sometimes too, So it's finding this balance of firmness and kindness within yourself. And that sounds easy, but it's not. Because when we first meet the Dharma, when I first met Buddhism, there was a big tendency to put yourself down, You hear you've got all these faults, and I've got this, I've got that, I've got the next thing. It's like, okay, I have got it, but I have the potential to change. So when we activate like the light energy, or we do some analytical meditation, we're trying to activate this power, or this ability to self-heal through our practice. But we still need wisdom from others. We need a lot of help with that process. But we can become our own therapist. Absolutely. We have the potential for that. We need to feel that we can. Some of us may be more in that already than others. But it doesn't mean, even some Dharma practitioners know that they still need a therapist. That's okay. I'm not saying give up the therapist and you're going to do it all on your own. I'm not saying that. But, as we move through, you will get more self-confidence in your practice. And that is, you can only get that through continual practice. Checking in with teachers, being with a Sangha, there's a few different things you need to get that inner confidence in your practice. We need to keep, listen, I've been doing this for 25 years. I'm still a beginner. But I feel like I've created a little bit of space where I can be my own therapist. Using that place as a mirror for how I digest the Buddhist teachings. But that was quite a process in the first few years, just creating that healthy space within myself. Yes,
yeah,
sorry.
You spoke of the twofold process, and I didn't quite get clarity on the actual twofold aspect of it.
Did it? Good. So what's the two? There's many twos and threes, but
Right.
to keep it simple, what did I say the twofold process was? Anyone? Good. So we're all not quite clear. That's good. It's the power of repetition. We have to hear things many times. So first of all, in meditation, we want to activate our good qualities, activate our Buddha nature. Buddha nature means this potential we have. We might not all be coming here to become a Buddha, that's a wee bit far off, but activate our potential for our good qualities, wisdom and compassion.
Do this a different way.
Oh, okay. Because that didn't come up there yet.
Yeah.
So the twofold process is, can you hear okay there online?
Yeah.
Yep, you're still
Yeah,
hearing
that's
it. So activating, what two things we want to do in our practice ideally, so we get off the cushion feeling we accomplished a little bit of something, yeah? Not just it's all my stuff and I'm drowning, yeah? We want a meditation practice that activates this Buddha nature. What's Buddha nature? Our potential for wisdom and compassion, keeping it simple. We have many potentials. We have this, and this is what, oh good, we've got it up here now. So we want to activate that. So that's what I'm trying to do when we lead the meditations. Even when we sit and we concentrate, we're activating the ability to concentrate. We're activating the ability to have more space and mindfulness in our mind, right? So we're doing that. But in that process, stuff's coming up. So we're activating the goodness, but we're also addressing becoming more aware of what's really going on in our mind. So Buddhism is like this inner psychology. The point in meditation is to become your own psychologist, your own doctor. You learn to recognise what we mean by the cause of suffering, what's disturbing the mind. So the first one is activating the positive, and the second one is, the more we activate the positive, the more we start to see, as you're saying, Dave, what is our problems? What is our challenges? But the more we activate the positive, the more there's a sort of space, a kindness, a compassion, a wisdom to start to work with it. We're not drowning in it. We're not, this is me, this is all I am, I can't be this, I can't be that. We're just stuck in it. We're drowning in who we think we are, anger, fear, anxiety, that's how we feel a lot of the time. But meditation's activating a spaciousness, a wisdom and a compassion, so we get a bit of space and we're not completely identifying with it. That's what we want to create. So does that help with the
Yes,
twofold?
very much, thank you.
So that's really what we're trying to do. Now, we won't accomplish that in every session, but the more we meditate, the more we might get a little bit of separation from our stuff. Like the stuff is the clouds and we're the sky. That's kind of what we're trying to create here, getting a wee bit more of the sky-like spaciousness, nature opening up, our goodness, our light nature, our luminosity. And we feel it sometimes. It's not like it's not there. There's times and moments. But when meditation, we want to become more familiar with that. What we want, that is us. That's who we want to become. Light, love, wisdom, compassion, but all the other stuff's getting in the way. Excuse me. But we've created the causes for that. Our mind is a causative phenomena. So we have to create the causes for more light, love, compassion, luminosity, whatever, all the good stuff. And that's what we're doing in meditation. But we're not avoiding the bad stuff. That's like pushing us. That needs to come up and wash, that needs to wash out of the mind. So this is a twofold process, recognising, because the more we recognise the faults of anger, so I'm going to lead a meditation for you for next week on a recorded one on the faults of anger, So because the more we recognise how it really disturbs the mind, and not beating ourselves up, but having this spacious place where we can just look and observe our anger, the more we'll get more courage and more ability to not follow it. And not feel like this is me and that's all I am as well. So that's kind of what we're trying to do in meditation, disengage from these negative states of mind, but face them as well. Face our stuff. It's like going to Alcoholics Anonymous. What do? You stand up and say, I'm an alcoholic, right? You don't say, I'm just coming here to bliss out. I'm not really an alcoholic. I'm just coming to listen. No. So in meditation, we have to say, yeah, I have anger. I have not beaten ourselves up, but I mean, the rest of the people listening to that person, when they say I am I mean, I've only seen it on, movies and all that, but when they say everybody else is sitting listening compassionately to that person because they get it, they've been there. So that's the Kate space. You want to feel like in some way you're maybe a little bit the audience to your anger after a while. You're not the person completely in it. As some of the people in AA, after a while, they feel like they're more the audience. They're not the one completely in it. But right now, in the beginning, we're very much in it, So we want to create a spaciousness so we identify with our anger, but we're not completely it. We see it, we recognise it, and we can slowly reduce it. All the states of mind. Is this helping?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, this is what meditation is all about. There's nothing other than that. It's not just getting blissed out. It's not just being happy. I mean, Rinpoche says if you just go and do a retreat like that, it's not much a retreat. You will get happiness, you will get joy, but that space is allowing you to see the destructive nature of your emotional world, that's kind of rooted in anger or selfishness, or it's a step-by-step process of just going through the different, there's not just one delusion in the mind, there's layers. And eventually what us Buddhists are doing are trying to get to the root of the whole thing, the whole problem. But we can only do one layer at a time. So what is your layer, the first layer you're working on? You have to get clear what that is. And that's what I'm working on in my meditation. And when I do these meditations, I'm activating certain states in mind to work on that, And that's just being really honest with yourself. That's what spiritual practice is about. You have to get really honest with your stuff. So this is what Rinpoche says about the inner psychology. I think there was a meditation. Well, yeah. This is what Lama Yeshe, the founder of the organisation I'm part of, he came up with this. He coined that phrase, becoming your own therapist. We have a book, the small booklet that Lama Yeshe is, of Lama Yeshe's teachings on becoming your own therapist. As I say here, it's about analysing, getting in touch with your negative states, recognising them, and then slowly working on them. Just like an alcoholic is finally decided that I need to change because this stuff is not working. But that takes quite a lot of courage, to do that. And it's the same with our meditation. We need courage, energy, inspiration. Because as Phyllis was saying, well, it's just no easy, this meditation stuff, it's really not, And unfortunately, we live in like 5-star Pure Land a little bit here. We can avoid our stuff. There's other places where they're not able to avoid their stuff, then suffering's so intense in so many places of the world. So as I said in the first class, actually, when we have problems, it's the best. Because then we're forced to look at our stuff. But when we have distraction, when we can go to the beach, when we can go to this, when we can have nice food, when we can go, it's not ideal. Because it's a little bit of a distraction from the level of dissatisfaction that's going on in our life all the time, this backpack that we are actually carrying all the time. All of us. Our backpack is stuff, but we can avoid it through doing stuff here, because we're living in a little Pure Land here in Santa Cruz. So can be easy to distract, So it takes courage, it takes inspiration, it takes a sangha, other people who are working on it, to support us. Because as Lama Yeshe said, meditation is the way we realise the nature of the mind. So it's something we have to do. So ordinarily, we feel, as I said, like I am my anger, I am my fear, I am my anxiety. Well, that's just coming from what we call a wrong view of self, a limited view of ourselves. We have a kind of small, limited view of who we think we are. And so what meditation does is it opens up this whole other world of who we could be. And it's all coming from development of the mind, development of the consciousness. So we need meditation to do that, to get out of ourselves, and open up to all the possibilities of what our mind can do. It's incredible what the mind can do. Another one. So now we've got a little bit of handle on, we have to become our own therapist, the twofold process of meditation. So some people think, so a misconception when we first meet meditation is just like I just need, one style of meditation. But if we want to cover this twofold process, we need to think beyond just one meditation. Is this making sense? And we can see that single pointed one of just being on the breath, it's not that easy. And it doesn't really deal with like mistaken concepts, really being able to see our stuff, really activating like qualities of wisdom and compassion. It's that one's got a specific purpose. So different meditations, just like we go to the health food store and there's like this for your liver, this for your B12s, this for your omega-3s, this for your... Our mind's got so much stuff going on. One meditation's not going to fix it. And as we get older, we need a few supplements, yeah? Even if you go to the doctor, you're on your blood pressures, your diet, they don't give you just one thing. So the Buddha taught 84,000 sets of teachings. Don't worry, we're not covering them all in this class, but, because we have different levels of problems and challenges that we need to work with, So like that, we need more than one style of meditation, to work with the different delusions on the mind. So we need to use, what it's saying here is, we need to use thoughts. It's not about getting rid of thoughts in that meditation when we use the breath. That's a misconception for meditation, thinking we're getting rid of them. In the analytical meditation, we create a space where we can think in a positive way. We bring about positive, because how many of us are thinking positively all day, every day? And believe you me, we're doing analytical meditation every day, but it's taking us down instead of up. Yeah, we don't often know how to use our thoughts in a positive way. They're there, so why not use them? But we need to be able to get a handle on them instead of them having a handle on us. And that is a process through meditation. Doing analytical meditation and creating a space where we can sort of a little bit control over our thoughts, so we can think about something in a positive way that activates this Buddha potential. It's our mind to be awakened, to be more enlightened, to be more compassionate, more skillful. So utilising our thoughts in a positive way, that's analytical meditation. Because there's a danger, this is in one of the books I study. So this is a yogi or hermit, I don't know, from a long time ago, probably, it's just an image. But so he was meditating in a cave, and he was in this deep samadhi. And like this meditation we were taught, so this single point, when you watch the breath, you're like, what's going on here? When you watch the breath, this level of concentration, it's called shamatha, this type of meditation. Being single-pointed on an object. So for someone who's accomplished that, you can sit on the object, whether it's the breath or an image of a Buddha or the nature of mind, you can choose for up to 4 hours without the mind moving. And it's very clear. It's not like you're sloughing off and then you're crystal clear on that object for 4 hours. And that's someone who's accomplished this type of practice. I mean, that even for all of us, that's a high level of accomplishment. So anyway, this is someone who was like practicing shamatha, just that meditation. And he was sitting single, but he could meditate for a long time, to a point where he had been meditating for a long time. His hair got long and everything, way beyond 4 hours. But when he got out of his meditation, the rats had chewed away his hair and he got really upset. That's what that's showing, And what this story is saying is that if we don't work on a meditation that also starts to work on the delusions, then yes, you feel very blissed out being there for 4 hours. When you get into deep levels of meditation, you can go into like this incredible kind of isolated sense of bliss, But if that's not enough to work on our stuff, it's not enough. It supports the analytical meditation, but that meditation alone, so he gets up and then he gets really upset, so his mind's disturbed again, so it hasn't worked on his stuff. So that's showing that we need, other types of meditation. Is that making sense? We need analytical. Any questions or comments from anyone online? Was anything so far?
I have a question.
Irina?
Yes, so this is a bit personal, but thank you for this meditation. What came up for me after was realizing that I have a lot of expectations. And do you have any advice on how to maybe start working through that, having that kind of delusion?
Expectations in your meditation or generally?
Generally, like of myself or of my loved ones, and then maybe having like a disappointment in not meeting those expectations.
Okay. Expectation. I think, it's a difficult one, expectation. I think it comes from some of your own expectation. Generally, we project expectation onto others because we expect a lot from ourselves. Does that make sense, Irina?
Right, yes. Yeah,
so then we project that on others. It's not something you can just fix right away, But I would say through meditation and understanding that everybody has stuff. The more we study, again, I have to say, the more you study Buddhism, you understand, like, the first noble truth, the truth is suffering, that the Buddha taught, this truth of dissatisfaction. Everybody has anger, right? Everybody has attachment. This is where we connect to each other, actually. Instead of feeling isolated from each other, the more we recognise how much we have our anger, our own attachment, our fears, anxiety, and the more we feel like, just like that, everybody has that. And if we don't work on our stuff, it's just going to continue, So expectation's not an easy one, but I think first of all, maybe starting with maybe you have unrealistic expectations of yourself, and what are they? And am I projecting them onto others?
Okay, yeah, that's helpful. Thanks.
And just looking at that in your meditation, So the other meditation we're going to do at the end as well is one on loving kindness, because also instead of projecting your expectations, we can project loving kindness on others. And the more we do analytical meditation, the more we that can come out a little bit more as well, So again, if you really just touch base with one type of meditation here, apart from some of the exercises of scanning the body, but there's so many types of meditation, Irina, that can work with expectation, like loving kindness, patience, becoming more patient with others. But something like it doesn't go away straight away. But I think it's very much about like, where am I holding too much expectation on myself that's maybe not realistic either? And am I projecting that onto them? Sometimes it would be nice if people did stuff. It would be nice if you did more work around the house, excuse me. It would be nice, And we would all love that, We have that comes up a lot in partnerships and relationships. I haven't been in a relationship for many years, but I work with a lot of people day to day. So you have expectations. But at the same time, sometimes you just have to accept where people are at, That's the reality, But there's things you can do in your own prayers and practices as you develop a practice that can benefit others. If the more you can develop a meditation practice, it does benefit others. It does affect those near and dear to you. Even if it's on quite a subliminal level, it does. It impacts them. Yes?
I think the expectation comes up within the meditation too. And you talked about it really briefly.
Yeah.
And I was actually going to ask that same question, like when you're, okay, I should be doing this, or why isn't, you know what I mean? Like when that's going on amidst the meditation, like what's the best? I guess just observe it.
Yes. Yeah. So Dave's asking when it comes up. It will come up in the meditation because some days it's like, wow, my mind's really good. And then the next day it's just like junk, It's just all the caca or garbage that's coming out, Yeah. And again, this is where we need different types of meditation. Because actually the benefit of this, starting these meditation classes with this actually more difficult type of meditation of watching the breath, being concentrated, it allows you to connect with your suffering. It's like a mirror for your stuff. It's like, oh my God, all this junk's coming out. I can't watch my mind at all. Because I'm not expecting many of you to be able to stay more than like a few counts on the breath, you know. That's the reality. And we shouldn't expect more than that. Just to let you know. Don't expect, oh, I've been here for 2 classes now, I should be able to sit the breath for 5 minutes. No chance, you know. Unless you've already been doing meditation before this. It's just showing you your craziness, you know, and showing you what the work has to be done, but ideally not getting disillusioned, discouraged, right, with yourself. So that's why we're moving into different types of meditation now and recognizing maybe you can connect, you know, different types that are going to help you in different ways. Because really what you want to do is, like, as a beginner, that type of meditation, unless we have a strong propensity from it, from past life, or some people really connect with that and it really helps them. And we do need to do some, but ideally you sit just for a few minutes on an object. It's really just to settle your mind, to activate what we'll call peace. Activate a little bit peacefulness, a little bit stillness. Then ideally we go into some other types of meditation. You can actually do 2 or 3 types of meditation in the one session. Yeah, so and then the more you know different types of meditation, you'll know, like, oh, today I'm just going to focus on this more, or this one more, or like that. And slowly you get a daily practice. Does that answer your question a little bit, Dave? Yeah. But expectation's a huge one, and we just, as I say, it's best just to kind of be aware of it and label it, oh, there's my expectation, and kindly go back to whatever you're doing in your meditation, you know. Be aware of it. It's good, you're aware of it, you know. So there's 3 types of wisdom. To develop our meditation practice, we actually need to rely on three things. As we're doing now, listening, discussing. What is meditation? Listening to teachings on, well, what is meditation really? What am I supposed to be doing there, you know? As I say, it's really medication. I think we should call it medication. Because meditation sounds really, it's transcendental meditation, you know, but actually it's medication, you know, and that's okay, you know, we're all medicating ourselves on something anyway, you know, for sure, you know, even if it's just going out and being in the nature, it's a form of medication for the mind, you know, we want to connect, we want to feel more connected. So we need to listen. And even when we go to the doctor, we need to listen to what he's saying. We want to know why we're taking this stuff. Most people do, you know. We're all intelligent here. We want to know why we're doing this. So we need to get really clear through listening why we need to meditate and what meditation is. And that takes a while to really, really figure it out. It takes a lot of years, you know, to figure it out. Wisdom from reflecting. So again, meditation's not just being on the cushion. Our thoughts are with us all day. You know, so we can use something, you know, reflecting on things we've heard and reflect on them through the day. So we can, Lama Zopa Rinpoche always used to say, we can meditate anywhere. We're not maybe meditating. Sorry, you're over there, so I haven't noticed my attention zero all the time, but I'll bring my attention here sometimes too. So, but yeah, we can, it's maybe not deep meditation, but throughout the day we are reflecting on things all the time. So, but we're trying reflecting something that's inspiring us or holding a little bit part of the meditation. You know, so that can be in our daily life. Reflecting is also, we get a wisdom through reading. Reading's like reflecting, or listening. Most people do a lot of listening now. So you listen to inspiring things and you reflect. And we get a lot of wisdom for that. That informs our meditation. So we need all 3 for a spiritual practice. Wisdom from our hearing. Because if we don't hear much, our meditation won't go much. It'll just be like, as I say, one type, or we need a lot of juice. We need to hear it from a lot of different places to put meat on the bones of our meditation. You know, we want to make it tasty, you know, juicy, you know, we want to enrich. And so we need to always, you know, my teacher, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, great enlightened yogi, still went to teachings all the time. And I was like, why is Rinpoche this teaching? It's like, sometimes I'd wonder, because it's like, well, I've heard this quite a few times, and Rinpoche, well, it's his guru, and he'll listen, and he gets something else every time you hear. And that's what my experience has been. We have this set, what we call the path to enlightenment, you know, so it's a set thing, the teachings. But, you know, every time you go, if we've done more reflection and meditation on the topics we heard before, then when you go again, it's like the same topic, but you hear it in a different way. It gets deeper and richer. So that's why we need meditation, and like we need practices like purification, which I will touch on in this course as well, purification. So we need all three to really enrich in our spiritual life. We need to rely on all three. Otherwise, just meditating, that will dry up for you after some time. Unless you're, even the enlightened yogis who come, we have tulkus in this tradition, they've been great lamas in their past life, they still come back and they're doing extensive study, extensive debate and reflection, and then they meditate and then they teach. And so even, you know, that's even holy beings for past life, they do all that, you know. So if we want to, you know, whatever we can do in that field capacity, you know, of those three, keeping those three in mind. What time are we on? Because I want to make sure we've got...
It's about 10 to 11.
Okay, we'll do another 5 minutes and we'll have a few minutes break, and then we'll do one last meditation. So we'll go to about 11 o'clock and then have a bit of break. So combining analytical and how we combine analytical and concentration meditation. You know, when doing a meditation on loving kindness, for example, we analyse the object. So here we're saying the object is emptiness. We're not going to get that far in this class, but here we're going to analyse loving kindness. You know, that's an object, something we think about. Using something we've heard or read, as I said, we've heard it, we've read it, you know, through wisdom of hearing, wisdom of reflection. So hearing and reflecting on these topics, then we're able to do a little bit of analysing of a topic, because we've heard something on it and we've read something about it. So when we mix these two together, it brings about a sort of deeper, what we want to do with analysis is we think about loving kindness, or we do some contemplation or meditation, and then maybe a feeling comes, a wee bit more love, openness in the heart, and then we sit with that feeling. We concentrate on that. So I've got these two little cats here because the lower one is the concentration, the one below, and it's supporting the analytical. And we want to create a softness and a cuteness in our mind. We want to feel like we're in a sweet space with ourselves as much as we can. You know, not a heavy space. But we are in a heavy space sometimes, that's the reality. So that one's supporting the other one, and they're both friends, you know. So our concentration meditation is a friend and a support for our analytical meditation. And that's how we get over the fence of our delusions, over the fence of our stuff, you know. That's how we get over our stuff, is relying on both of these together. These become like our two buddies. So this come, as I say, there's from the bottom we can see it's from How to Meditate, some of these quotes. So that's a very good book actually by Kathleen MacDonald if you're interested to buy it. How to Meditate goes through different types of meditations. There are different meditations there. I think eventually it would probably be good to make it into I guess you probably can. I don't know if you can. Not all books you can get somebody talking, but this one would be good actually if you get someone talking it through now, because it talks a little bit about the styles of meditation, and then you get the meditations, you know, how you meditate on this and that and the next thing. So anyway, just to advertise, that's a really good book. So as I say, when we do some analysis, then we soak our mind in the experience that comes maybe from feeling love or kindness or a bit of clarity, a bit of body of light. As I said, when we did the light meditation, you kind of, in a way, it's a little bit analytical because you bring the light, you know, you're doing something with your mind, and then you imagine the light like love and compassion, kindness, that fills up your whole being. So your whole being gets illuminated with light, and then you concentrate, you just sit on that, with that space, that feeling of lightness. And then when thoughts come in, you absorb it in the lightness, and you just sit in the space again, a light. That's what we were trying to do in that meditation. You know, just deconcretizing our thoughts, our feelings, emotions, making our world a little bit lighter. Lightening up that backpack a wee bit, you know. That's really what we're trying to do in meditation. Lighten our backpack. Lighten the load, not just move it from here to there by getting distracted. I'm not feeling good, I'm going to go here and there and do this and that. That's just moving the backpack from one shoulder to the next. But eventually the weight kicks in after a while and it's still there. We want to start taking out some of the load, some of the anger, some of the fear, some of the anxieties, whatever it is. We want to lighten that up a bit. Okay, so this is another one that I think we won't touch on today maybe is the power of mantra, which I'm going to talk about next week. How many of us have done mantra recitation before? Done some mantra, a couple? Anybody online done? And not any hands. I'm just going through. Not everybody's up on the screen, but I'm not seeing any hands yet. So mantra is a very powerful way. I found it very effective for me even as a beginner, to really support the mind and meditation and practice. But I think what we'll do is next week we will kind of move into a little bit like how mantra works, how that's another way to help and support the mind, move out the delusions a little bit and awaken simultaneously this kind of innate qualities that we have, that are just hidden for the moment. So anyway, any comments or questions so far with what we've covered? Twofold process, what's that? Someone online. Josh. I'm going to pick on you. Twofold process, what is it? In meditation.
Twofold process. If I remember correctly, it is basically reflecting on what you're feeling. And I forgot the second part. Or maybe I forgot the first part too.
Anyone else? Twofold process for here. We talked about it about 20 minutes ago. I know we've been in the analytical and the thing, but I'm just going back again so we get this by the end of the class.
I think
Yes,
there was something in there about creating spaciousness.
Activating compassion and wisdom, yeah.
Yeah, and then it was also the repetition, right? I remember repetition was involved.
It's true. We want to keep working on our stuff, yeah. I think I'm going to make a slide of the twofold process next week. Yeah? That helps us to stick in the mind, yeah. Twofold process. First one is activating our positive qualities, and I'll make it more simple. In meditation, we want to activate, nurture, bring forward our potential for wisdom and compassion, our innate good qualities, activate them. Simultaneously working on our stuff, so it's a twofold process. As Lama Zopa Rinpoche says, is recognizing what's causing our suffering, our stuff, and also activating the positive, activating all the nice juicy stuff that we want to have. It's like activating and deactivating. Activating the good and recognizing and slowly deactivating and working on the stuff that's not supporting us in our life, that we don't want, that's not supporting happiness. Removing the causes of unhappiness or suffering and enabling and activating the causes of happiness. That maybe makes even easier. Yeah, so that's what we want. We need to do both in our practice and be aware that that's what meditation is doing. It's not just blissing us out. It's creating happiness, but at the same time, we have to be aware that we have to work on stuff. As Irene said, well, what about expectations, Yeah, that's some of your stuff that we need to work on. You're just becoming aware of them. And slowly, we can actually motivate, when we start. Through this meditation, may I be able to work on like my expectations? May that support that, to reduce them, because they are creating a challenge in my life. I'm getting frustrated because my expectations aren't met. So being aware of what are the things we need our meditation to work with or work on, and then activating through meditation the antidotes to these. What is helping me to work on these? It's helping? We're getting there? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So let's take a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back to doing another meditation. Oh gosh, this isn't plugged in. My computer's Yeah, so we'll take a 5-minute break. We'll be back at 5 past.
You guys need an IT guy in here.
Can I?
Yeah.
Angie.
Not me.
I think my... Oh, yeah, there it is. Sorry. Yes, Phyllis.
What
Mhm.
if,
So this whole teaching is recorded. right?
initially, I
Correct?
came
Yeah.
here because, I've worked on that issue. Yeah,
Okay.
I need to think about asking you this question in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
I will.
But acceptance is different for apathy. I don't know if that's answering your question,
No,
but
it's
yeah.
not apathy.
Okay.
I just don't know if I'm on a fool's errand.
Okay. Well, that can happen too sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
We want to help, but we can't.
Mm-hmm.
There's that part too. That happens. That can be a lot. That's why in the Buddhist tradition we use this expression: to develop yourself spiritually and wholly, you need to develop the 2 wings, wisdom and compassion. You know, we want to help others. That's nice to have the wish to help, to be kind, more compassionate, but we can also be a bit stupid, you know. Lama Yeshe used to call it idiot compassion.
Yeah, yeah.
So we often can be, it's a nice expression, fool's errand, on a fool's errand. So if we don't develop our wisdom simultaneous with our compassion, then it's not really, we're not often helping. We don't mean to harm, but we might be harming even, or just wasting our time. So there's always that to look at as well, yeah. There's those 2 qualities to develop. I'm going to go to the bathroom as well, and then we've still got another few minutes. We're all like stretching and the arms are all going. It's good.
teachings online.
Yeah.
Okay, then we can move it to Bajapani.
Yeah, I don't know exactly.
Bajapani.org.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's very much like those meditations that I sent, that I put together for the recorded ones. I think one was called Activating Spaciousness, something like that. Activating Mindfulness. So again, it's this twofold practice. What are we doing there? We're trying to create a space in our mind so we're not stuck, glued to our stuff. I'm angry, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. We wanted meditation, and it takes time. Please, when you sit down, try to be just be with yourself without any expectation. We have to try and do that. It's not easy, but it takes time to create this space. From my 25 years experience. I don't want to overwhelm you, and I'm not trying to blow myself up either. It's like I've been doing this for years, and I'm just telling you, it takes a lot of time, But it's not impossible, and it's amazing when you can get a bit of space for your stuff. It is really incredible when you get little insights, and some of us have probably had, You get insights, and and that's wonderful, but don't expect that every session. It's just not going to happen, But the main thing is that we have this lifeline of inspiration. My lifeline was my teacher, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and so we need to find teachers and sangha and communities that inspire us, because there's no way you're doing this on your own. Right? I'm just letting you know. It's a big job, I mean, we're talking about meditation, but then we're talking about really sincerely wanting to work on some of your stuff to be a better human being. Because that's what's needed in the world right now. We can't control much of this stuff that's going on. And I'm not saying be apathetic. Yeah, be active where you can, but not with too much expectation. Because, or anger, or this, or he's bad and I'm good, and, all that stuff that goes on, that can go on, with politics, religion, all that stuff, the Dharma's not about that at all. It's you becoming a peaceful person, you becoming a good person. We are becoming the inner activist. We need more inner activists. People who are really trying to work on their stuff sincerely, even if it's just making a small dent on your anger. That's a great contribution to world peace. Lama Zopa Rinpoche would prostrate to you if you made a small... He would. My teacher, incredibly humble. If you made a small dent in your anger, if you upheld 4 or 5 vows, no killing, no stealing, no lying, there's these vows you can take for life, Rinpoche would prostrate to you. The Buddhas would be prostrating to you, because that's where world peace starts, with our own practice. It really does, I mean, we know great beings like His Holiness, all these beings who have really, really developed their mind, what transformation they make in the world. But we can make small transformations, just being a better person, a less angry, impatient person, whatever, in our community. And we can do that we have to do it through meditation and through practice. So we might be making small dents. I mean, I remember when I first met Buddhism, I heard about enlightenment and all this. I was all focused on that, I forgot that all this stuff needs to come out, But, which is great, you want to be inspired. And I went to a teaching with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. I was in North India at the time, and he said, well, after 10 years of practice, if you have a little bit less anger, that's very good. Keep going. And I was like, what do you mean? Is that all I'm going to have after 10 years, But I have to be honest that I felt like after 10 years my mind was a bit lighter. Attempt practice. There was a karmic offloading. The backpack, something came out. The backpack, so I was carrying something a bit lighter on the back, in my mental continuum, in my consciousness, something had lightened. The propensity for anger, agitation, and also self-destruction, beating yourself up, feeling low about yourself, that was less for me after 10 years of practice, and that was a big enlightenment for me. That was my mini enlightenment, And it's amazing how if you just lighten your load a little bit, how much the natural propensity of happiness comes out. You know, it does. You know, like this, we have a natural propensity for happiness. It's just blocked because we weren't trained at school how to be happy. I mean, not in terms of mental happiness. You know, we're like happy with a job, or with a family, or with a wife, but how do you do all that stuff? That's not easy. Job, wife, kids, houses, mortgages, partners, you know, all that. I mean, that's not easy stuff to navigate if you don't know really what your mental, the arena your mind looks like, you know, really. We're not in touch with that. So that's why it's so important. I mean, we're like babies, you know, we need to start here because we didn't get that when we were young. Maybe some of us did, which is great, I rejoice. But, you know, we might have had some of us in our family, but I think most of us are here because we didn't. So it's just creating a bit of space for that. We have to create space for that in our lives. It's so important, you know. That's what our contribution to world peace is, just working on our stuff, non-harming, trying to harm others less. We are body, most of us I don't think are going out to kill people. We are speech, more difficult. We are mind, more difficult. Yeah. So body is easier, mostly, I think for most of us. But speech and mind, not harming others, hard, you know, because of the power of the delusions in the mind. So this is what we work on, slowly purifying and pacifying actions with our body, speech and mind. That's what makes peace, brings more peace. You know, we try to do that in meditation. So when we go out in the world, the actions of our speech and slowly with our mind are less harmful, more helpful. Slowly, slowly. Okay, so we're going to do another meditation for about 20 minutes, 15 minutes or so, just to finish on activating. So again, twofold process in meditation, activating the positive potentials in the mind, positive states of mind, and while simultaneously kind of working on being more and more aware of the things that we need to purify in the mind, to kind of lighten up in the mind. You know, so that's what meditation's doing. As we do these meditations, we'll start to see some of the habitual tendencies. So just trying to be aware of them. If we're aware, we won't follow them. The more we're aware, the more we have space, we have a wee bit more control over these tendencies. And that happens when we activate the positive states. They start to overwhelm the negative states, slowly, slowly. So let's get into our meditation position. Just 2 or 3 minutes of just being with the body, scanning from the crown all the way down to the toes, touching the points of the posture as you remember them, as you feel them. And breathing in maybe a couple of deep breaths at the same time, but again using breath and awareness just to go through the whole body, and then be in our safe space, our confident space, just an open space for meditation without any expectation, just being open, curious, and with the body. Then as we connect with the breath, just breathing normally, let's just breathe in the aspiration, allow it to ride on the breath. May I be happy. May I find happiness. Allow that thought to ride on the breath. Allow it to pervade your whole being as the breath does. And just release on the out breath whatever's not kind of disturbing the mind. What's the first block to that sense of happiness that you have, that comes up in your life more regularly, that sort of blocks out happiness? So inhale happiness, the thought, and exhale that which isn't supporting your happiness right now. Just with a sense of kindness and gentleness, doing this for a couple of minutes. So as I said, in this meditation, we're trying to activate this thought of universal loving kindness. And breaking down a little bit the self-created walls we have that block us to feel that. So in Buddhism, we have this kind of aspiration is to develop this great mind of bodhicitta. It's a mind that feels deep compassion for all beings equally. And it's also a very energetic mind that's going to do whatever it takes to free others from any type of suffering, physical or mental, spiritual. It's what we say the lamas embody, the spiritual gurus or masters embody, this mind of bodhicitta that embraces all beings equally. Of course, realistically, we can see in our own mind, just thinking that, it's not easy. It's a little bit beyond our scope right now. So where do we start to develop that mind of universal loving kindness, compassion? We need to start because ourselves, the world, everybody needs more kindness, more loving compassion towards ourselves and towards others. That's the greatest gift we can give to others. So again, we create these kind of walls between ourselves and others. Sometimes we feel close, sometimes we feel distant, right? But But the universal thought of loving kindness, it kind of starts with this awareness, acknowledgement that, like me, all beings wish to be happy. Each one of us here have this kind of instinctive universal desire, wish, and we can say a basic human right to happiness. We all share that. Just see if you can just sit and feel that need, that wish, that right for happiness for yourselves and for each one of us right now. We share that. And then to kind of break down some of our walls to feeling this kind of wish, this connectedness with others. One meditation is we visualize, imagine a friend in front of you, someone you call a friend. Just place them in the space before you. Imagine they're there. And recognize maybe you feel a bit close to them, because we label them a friend. Then next to them we visualize someone, imagine someone we don't know. Maybe we just saw them passing on the street. We don't feel any particular connection to them, they're just a passerby. And just place them also in the space before you, recognizing the kind of feeling that comes up towards them, and we just place them in the space before us mentally. Then we imagine an enemy, somebody who's challenging for us. We have a bit of an aversion towards them, we try and avoid them. They bring up our stuff. Place them also. So we have three people, like a friend, enemy and stranger. So if we think, really check up, this is how we label people in our lives. Maybe not consciously, but this is the relationships going on that we have with people in our lives, either friend, difficult, enemy, avoid, and someone we don't know, distant. So how do we break down the walls that we feel towards each one? You know, so if we wish the friend to be happy, that's easy, yeah? May you be happy. May be you well. May you be free from suffering. Then wish that to the person we don't know. Direct that thought. May you be happy. May you have all the happiness that I experience. And check up in that moment when you wish them happiness, does it break down a wall of separation in your mind? just through that thought. And similarly, for the person who's difficult, if we wish them happiness, to be free of suffering of any kind, to be at peace, does it start to break down the wall that you have between them and yourself? It creates an openness, a connectedness with that person. Now expand the thought of may you be happy out to your friends and family. Imagine it goes like a light, travels like light, you know. That thought just travelling and enter into the hearts of friends and family. May you be happy, may you be well, may you be free of suffering. And that light just fills them with that experience of happiness. And that thought that's travelling on light, it goes out to, you know, your community, the town, the village, the place that you live in. It's just spreading out to people you know, people you don't know, people of any race, religion, culture, just spreading out. May you be happy. And it continues to spread out through the country, through the different states, beyond the borders, even this country, across to other states and other worlds. Just a massive light, just sending this thought of loving kindness. May you be happy, may you be well, may you be at peace. And it activates the thought of happiness in all the beings' minds. It brings them happiness and peace. And imagine the whole world experience peace and happiness through the power of the light and the positivity in your thought of loving kindness that you're sending out. The whole world gets embraced with peace, light, positivity. And just rest in that space for a moment. So this is a meditation just to kind of wake up a little bit our potential for loving kindness. Again, we have that. We wish friends to be happy, but we don't always feel that towards people we don't like or people we don't know. We build up these self-created walls that disconnect us from others. right? But the moment we remember, through the power of mindfulness, just when we feel a disconnection with others, a hardship with others, a challenge, if we just send that thought on the beam of light, may you be happy, may you be well, may you be peaceful, it sort of breaks down that wall of disconnectedness, that wall of anger, fear, just this general separation that we tend to feel with others. In that moment, it just opens something up. And that's through the power of loving kindness. So to finish the class, just taking a moment to dedicate all the positive energy. We always try to seal the positive energy we create through listening to, the talks, through reflecting, so we digest it a little bit more, and then through our meditation, really trying to taste what we've heard. We dedicate that positive energy, not just for our own peace and well-being, but for the peace, well-being, happiness, all the way up to enlightenment of all sentient beings, for each one of us to become luminous, kind, more skillful, more wise in our actions, our body, speech and mind. And just rejoicing that we've engaged in this class today and really trying to discover the nature of our consciousness, our mind, its spacious nature, its loving, kind nature, while also acknowledging the painful parts, so this twofold process. How wonderful it is we've engaged in this class, each one of us. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, thank you everyone online, and I'll send a meditation on, meditation and a couple of handouts for you as well. And if you do have any questions, you have I think you have my email address from the first class, so if anybody does have any questions that they don't want to ask in class, you're welcome to email me. Did you get the point of that meditation?
I'll include that again, and the meditations, there's two on Angie's, Venerable Angie's webpage on the Wisdom Center.
Yeah.
That's the ones from this past week. And so I'll keep posting them there because I know they'll always be accessible and easily.
Yeah.
And but if there are any handouts, I'll email them and let me know if you're not getting emails.
Okay. Thank you so much, Josh, Robbie, and enjoy your week. And
Thank you.
Did you paint that in the back there, Robbie? That's a lovely picture in the back. It's not you. Looks like hand painted. Somebody painted it. Maybe you know someone.
No, I wish I painted that. It's a thrift store find.
It's a what?
It's from a thrift store.
Oh, that's actually really nice. Yeah, it's a pretty good job. Looks like an original
good,
or
right?
something.
Yeah, it's real nice. It's beautiful.
Good. Okay. Thank you.
Thank
See you
you
next
so much.
week.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary. Thank you.
Thank you, Angie.
Okay. Yeah. Hi. Nice to see you. How are you?
Oh, well, I'm quite nervous. I'm like
that would be good for me too.
trying to go to McLeod Ganj to go to the Tibetan doctors there, and so I have some health problems. But I'm nervous. I already, in fact, my flight is that I'm going to miss is today because I couldn't get it together to leave.
And just a
So you had a
quick
flight?
reminder, they're sitting next to me.
You had a flight, but you couldn't manage to go.
When is this?
Yeah.
How often is this?
Oh, I'm
place?
sorry. Yeah.
So I booked another one,
You're welcome to go in.
Oh, really?
and I really have to not have that happen again. And
Have you been there before?
yeah,
Oh well, so you know where you're going. It's not the
Yeah.
first time,
yeah.
So what happened that you missed the flight? You too nervous to fly?
Well, I had some problems with my car, so I had to get it taken care of, and then I didn't have enough time to do everything, to pack and meet people. And
So you have to rebook. It's quite, I guess this is a good time to go, October. The weather's good.
oh,
It's a good time weather-wise to go at this time of year.
oh, you mean
Dharamsala.
oh, it's almost October. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you've still got another 2 weeks, yeah. But anyway, it's a good time to go. Well, I hope you can make it for your next flight, yeah. Full force.
Yeah, thank you very much for the class.
Thanks for coming. You're at LMB a lot, yeah? Land of Medicine Buddha?
What?
Land of Medicine Buddha is your place. You're there a lot. At Land of Medicine Buddha. You're at Land of Medicine Buddha a lot.
Oh, I go there a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. That's where I see you there most.
Where do you live?
I live at Vajrapani
You
in
do-
Boulder
you-
Creek.
You live there now?
So I'm not over here so often, but I'm coming to help with this class, yeah. Have you been here before, to the Wisdom?
No, I've been to Insight. That's not here.
Oh,
though.
yeah, that's next door. Well, it's next door. Yeah, yeah, it's next door that way, yeah.
Hi, I'm Tony.
Hello.
We
Thanks,
haven't
Dave.
met. How are you?
Hi,
Glad to see you
I'm
here.
John. Nice to meet you.
Yes, same.
John was just saying he missed a flight. He was supposed to be going to India, and you missed a flight. Yeah, that's a pity. I hope you get the next one.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, just to Thailand, and then